Howdy. Welcome back to Dion Talk. One of the larger threats to YouTube content creators is AI replacing us. Pretty sure they're going to do a better job, so I'm okay with that. But what I have today is Dana, the CEO of Hemlane. This is a property management software company that has thousands of operators as owners on there and tens of thousands of units on the platform. I don't really use AI. I haven't used it, not even for pictures in the background in videos or scripting videos. So I'm not the person to talk about this. But Dana, can you go over some of the things that AI can be used for in self-managing a rental portfolio?
Thanks, Dion. And once you start using AI, you're going to get addicted to it. I don't think it will replace you. It's not going to replace Dion Talk. I do think it will be a replacement for a lot of what people use Google for, and in a much more eloquent way, be able to, help answer certain questions you have. It's interesting because even AI like OpenAI and Bard is owned by Google, are the two largest players that you've probably heard of in the AI space. And what you will hear about is if you ask them legal questions, they'll give a caveat of speak to a lawyer. And what I've noticed is it only gets better over time where it's just so accurate. And if you give an example of early lease termination or something like that, it will give you everything from when can a tenant terminate in your specific state to when can the owner, what the owner should think about. So there's just a lot there that goes into it where it's only getting bigger and more powerful. So one of the questions is what can you use AI for? And this video isn't really to talk about that, although I'll give you a couple of examples. I really want to go into the new GPT store. Examples of how you could use AI. One is your listing description. So if you're looking to create a listing description that follows fair housing, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right down the street from the L line bus or whatever it may be, it would pre-populate all of that. You do have to be careful. A lot of times you want to use, which will go into the GPT store, something that is property management specific, because you'd hate for it to say something like great family neighborhood. And, that's a fair housing violation. So there's certain kind of caveats with it, but it's really good for one, writer's block, and two, just getting these templates started. Also, it can soften your language. So you can go in there and say, if you're really upset with something with a tenant, don't send the email right away. Take it, put it in OpenAI, so ChatGPT, and say, soften the language on, this message, and they'll make it sound much more delightful, a little bit less of an attack. And so there's a lot of benefits there. So OpenAI just released something called the GPT store. And the GPT store is essentially apps where, Dion, you could go create an app. You could create the Dion Talk app on GPT. And then anyone can ask it questions and it responds. And basically how that works is it uses OpenAI and all the data that it has in it, but then you can actually change it and adjust it to be exactly what you wanted to say. So you can kind of finagle exactly say but be mindful of fair housing violations. Here are examples, whatever it may be, you can go through and make the app really your own. You can also input your own data so that it's able to use your own data plus their data to make things better. And so we tested this out last week as Hemlane. We obviously use AI in Hemlane. So when you create your advertising description, you can click create it with AI and we'll pre-populate it based on everything about the property. But we went into the GPT store, which is separate. It's part of OpenAI. And we created a Hemlane app and we called it Hemley. It was just a quick kind of prototype project that our engineering team did. And we did it with repair coordination. And so essentially any question, and Dion, you get a lot of these of, my drain is clogged, my garbage disposal is broken, whatever it may be, you can type it into there and click enter, and it will populate a very cohesive response of exactly how to do the troubleshooting. And why is this so important? Well, there's some folks who've been around the block with rentals and sort of know, how do you do these things? Change filters, unclog drains, go through and check doorbells that aren't working. But then there's a lot of real estate investors who just don't know that. And so you can go into the GPT store and, type that in. You could type in Hemley and basically go through and get troubleshooting for repair coordination. And so why is this important? I think every single company is going to become an AI company. And I think as every company becomes an AI company, they help use this to assist you with managing your rental properties or doing whatever you need to do on online platforms. Will it be a replacement for humans in Dion Talk? Absolutely not. It won't be. You still need to think and review things, but it is a great starting point at this point to really make it where you can get things done faster and get them done even more professionally through using AI to help you. So anyway, that's our specific use of the new GPT store, us just playing around with it. It was a little bit of a hackathon that we did last week with our engineers, and look forward to, coming out with more AI for you all.
Thank you. That's actually something I really haven't looked into yet. I'm sure that there's some uses for AI in what I do. I'm just going to benefit from you using it on Hemlane. And then when I use Hemlane, it goes better for me. And I think the biggest shift that people should take note of when it comes to educating our kids and self-education is, if you're anywhere close to my age, we had libraries, right? Remember those big brick buildings where they hid all the books? You would go in there to find out things if you needed to. Then they had encyclopedias. You can actually have a set of books in your house that had current theories in it. And then you had experts. So for decades, probably centuries, as a species, we've had to teach our kids, where do you find information? With the advent of AI coming out and new apps and new ways to get information, we have to teach ourselves and our kids, what question do you ask to get the information you're looking for? And that's going to be key when it comes to using AI for anything like real estate or investing, such as create me the rental listing description that will get the most interest. Mm-hmm. How many fair housing laws do you think that description would break? Versus considering fair housing regulations, what's the best way to list my property and create the thing that you're looking for that way? So learning how to ask the right questions, I think, is going to be key. So you've tried out the making an app. What other ways are you using AI in Hemlane? You said you are using AI in Hemlane. So to populate the listings, is there anything else you guys are using it for?
Yeah, we use it. We're starting to use it a lot on Backend for other things. So for example, we have a new accounting feature coming out. There is no reason that Dion needs to go into there and figure out, is this payment for rent? Is this payment for repairs? What exactly is this for? And so all of that we're using AI for. And then I think the future in the next step is for it to actually be able to understand and be smart enough to say, oh, this goes with this repair request and this property. And so we're using it a lot on the data side as well. It's actually very helpful. If you don't know Excel, you can ask it any question and it will tell you how to do the Excel formula and certain things like that. And so we use it a lot on the data to understand, what's going on, how can we make the product more valuable? And then obviously for the user using it both on the listing description, now starting to think about how you communicate with your tenants in a delightful way for them. How do you make it, very much of a always thinking about, with any relationship or argument, there's two sides to a story. Thinking about the other side, how do you get them aligned with exactly what is the best outcome for everyone? So all of that and getting AI into there, we're doing a lot of that on the back end.
I love the way you framed a question earlier when you said, okay, I'm going to respond to this tenant. I'm going to go to AI and I'm going to actually ask AI, soften the language of this response, right? That's not something most people would think of. I would think, write the email, put it in your draft section, wait a couple of days to see if your emotional state still matches what you wrote, and then correct it. Versus AI is going to know right away, these are the ways that you can change it to make it.
And a lot of people, that's why folks like to pick up the phone and talk to people, because then suddenly it becomes much more friendly. Versus when you're in an email, it can be construed as, hey, this was very direct and very negative, and potentially you didn't mean it to be that way. And so, yeah, there's certain things like that AI can really help you with.
It's actually, as I wrap this video up, it's one of the reasons why there's been a shift in how I am doing my YouTube channel. the first year and a half or so, I tried to do 10 to 15-minute videos where I kind of scripted. I had an outline, and then I would edit and I would release, with more pictures to be clearer. And I thought that was what would work. But what I found was if I had the time to script it, to record it, and then edit it, and in any way it seemed rude or off-putting or condescending or whatever adjective you can put on there that would be negative, I had 3 opportunities to fix it. Versus this last year, all I've really done is gone live. I really don't want to do very many edited videos. I love this when I have a guest come on and, we can, get other opinions here. But I think I get a better response when I'm just talking and people are in the chat right now and I can see, they see that it's me just being transparent and authentic. And if it comes across as rude, I literally catch it and apologize in the moment without going, I scripted it, I videoed it, and then I edited, and I still left that in there, right? Just feels better this way. If somebody has more questions and they want to reach out about Hemlane or about AI or self-managing real estate, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can, email is actually the best for me, Dana, DANA @hemlane.com. So email me. I'd love to hear questions. I love to talk about AI. I also love to talk about property management. The 2 things that I love and think about every day. You can also go to hemlane.com. Just mention Dion Talk for 20% off your first year. But you can go to hemlane.com to also try us for free.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm actually looking forward to the traveling that I'm going to do this year. And I don't want tenant turnover, but I'm expecting one in the middle of the year where I think I'll step up to the higher tier for that period of time. So
thanks so much for having me.
Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion Talk.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.